Before I even begin this stream here, I would like to do a little bit of, what do I call it? This and that? Yeah, that's what I call it. I plan on doing a few things. One of the things that I have lined up is kind of like a collaboration with Denise Gonzalez, also known as Latin Splaining. Okay. She, myself, Radical, and a few others have something really special lined up for y'all. You are going to love it. LUV, capital exclamation mark, love this stuff. Okay? Now, a few things I have to cover here. One, or one of my last videos, probably 2 streams ago or maybe 1 stream ago. I lose track of what I do because I do so much during a day, let alone, keeping track of what I do during a week, right? So I did a video on Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights. If you go watch that video, I think you'll agree with me that I wasn't talking to Hispanics or Latinos or anybody. If you have two brain cells to rub together, who was I talking to in that video? Black people, right? So immediately, right off the bat, I have to go into when you have, what do you call them? There are two kinds, I don't know, plants, agents, agent provocateur. There are two kinds of agent provocateurs. There are agent provocateurs who are paid, and then there are agent provocateurs who are trying to be official. They want to be part of the dominant society, and they do the work for free. Okay? They have acknowledged and they have learned that there's a hierarchy in place, with white being at the top and black being at the bottom. Everything else forms the gradient in the middle. And these particular self-hating people, they know exactly, they have no delusions here. They know exactly where they fit in that gradient. Okay? They have a very clear understanding of where they fit in. A lot of times that happens to be quote unquote Hispanics. Sometimes that happens to be Asians. A lot of other times that happens to be mulattoes. Sometimes that even happens to be dark-skinned black people. And they know exactly where they fit in. They are happy with their place, and they build an altar. They build a shrine. They have constructed shrines to the monument that is white supremacy. And they worship at that altar, and woe be unto you. Woe be unto you if you try to disrupt that worship. Woe be unto you. So when they come in, someone like Algo Real, Ricandelphia, right? When he comes into a video where I'm screaming at the top of my lungs at black people for even wanting to be part of In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda and all those producers and directors shouldn't have found one black person willing to be in that fucking movie. They shouldn't have found one. Not one. The news should have been, well, we tried to find black people. Every single one of them turned the offer down. Usually, we have open casting calls and the people flood in, but this time we had to seek out black people, and they would not be part of this. That's the news that I should have seen on TV, on YouTube, on Vimeo, on Twitter, on Facebook. That's what I should have seen, but to my dismay, that's not what I saw. I saw black people begging to be part of something run by people who don't want them in it. Now, the thing is, that's the energy that I'm bringing now, and it's consistently the energy that I bring to these sorts of streams, and that's precisely the energy I brought to the last stream I did. But Recondelphia comes in and says, this guy's mad because there's nothing there wasn't any black people and in the house, and this guy's mad.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
So, that being what it was, I was like, dear mods, please give this man this on the way out. And you get to decide whether it's the window, the door, and you get to also decide whether that window or door is open or closed when you toss them out.
Yeah.
The other person who came in there, the other agent provocateur, again, these people are not paid provocateurs. It's not like the FBI, CIA, NSA, Interpol. It's not like any of these entities have sent these people in here. These people do it on their own time. That's what's amazing. They do this shit on their own time. What in the flying fuck? That's what you dedicate your time to? Lady? You dedicate your time to coming in here and trying to disrupt an empowerment session when I'm talking to my people? You, who keeps calling herself mixed race and keeps propagating the idea of mixed raceness. I'm doing a video on that after this. Okay, I'm doing a video on that after this. On why there's no such thing as mixed race. Your primary race, your primary identity, the genetic marker that you identify as, that's your race. You're not mixed race. You're not mixed race. You have those other lineages in you, but the primary one, that's your race. But I'll cover that for another time, 1 or 2 streams after this one. But this lady here, who I don't know what sort of privilege that she enjoys from that shade of skin, but I can tell you right now, the day that she forgets sunscreen in her apartment or house or condo, and she spends 1 hour more than she should under the sun, she will know what it's like to be a black girl. She will be reminded. And this is the person who came in and disrupted or attempted to disrupt everything. I'm already screaming at my people, telling them, yo, why the fuck are you trying to be part of Lin-Manuel Miranda's shit? That's a whole white man who's made his money off of black culture, but that's a whole white man. And with this In the Heights debacle, this brouhaha, this bochinche concerning it, you found out where his heart is. He has dancing monkeys in the background. No black leads. No black leads in the show, except for that one guy who was in the Next 24. He had a tokenized black lead. Everyone else was caramel. And there's nothing wrong with that. I told you people to stop putting your eggs in their basket. Fuck their basket. You have your own basket. Do your own shit. They have no responsibility towards you. What responsibility do you think they have to represent you properly? It's your responsibility to represent yourself properly. If you're ever watching stuff like AMC or any of those channels, you see an old movie. We were all kids at the time, but I think it's a very appropriate time to bring that movie up again. Harlem Nights. Funny movie, mostly like 99.99999% black cast. Slaughtered the box office at the time, if you adjust for inflation. And it's a cult classic. Usually it's one or the other. A lot of times it's one or the other. Granted, you have movies like Terminator and Aliens that are financial successes and they're cult classics. But a lot of times a movie's either financial success or it's a cult classic. Harlem Nights happens to be a movie that is both. What the fuck are you doing not following that path? You want to be part of Lin-Manuel Miranda's bandwagon. It's not your shit. It's not yours. You can't follow in the tradition of Harlem Nights. A lot of you wanted to say that Luke Cage was in the tradition of things like Harlem Nights or Vampire in Brooklyn, but here's the thing. Do you own Luke Cage? At the very least with Harlem Nights, you own Harlem Nights. That's Eddie Murphy's joint. He's proudly black. That's Eddie Murphy's joint. Him and the other people who were involved, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, rest in peace to both those brothers. Okay? That was black owned. There's another brother called Antoine Fuqua. He's doing the Lord's work. You want to know why? You will never know that Antoine Fuqua is black. In fact, I thought it was an Asian dude. Okay? And the thing is, he has done work and they're never really specifically, like he doesn't get boxed into black cinema. Oh, he made the black movie. No. He makes fantastic movies, blockbusters, amazing, chef's kiss, adorable fucking films with explosions and fight scenes and infiltration and love scenes and all these sorts of things. But he's a black director. Now, I'm hoping that he has at least some or partial or even complete ownership to the things that he produces. But at the very least, that's an example of ownership. Do you own what you make? Or are you taking your time out of your day? Bear with the alliteration here, bear with the imagery, bear with the abstract thinking here. Are you taking time out of your day, filling up your lawnmower, the kind you ride in like a little buggy, your buggy lawnmower, filling it with gas that you paid for out of your pocket, driving across town under the hot sun, you sweating, then cutting the lawn of a multi-millionaire's mansion, and then going home? He didn't even pay you. As a matter of fact, if you count all the things that you went through to go mow his fucking lawn, you paid him to mow his fucking lawn. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. When you don't own a property and you invest in it, do you get that or don't you? Now, here's the thing. I'm talking to my people, right? I want to count how many minutes it will take, or even seconds it will take, for one of these fundiendo neuronas or Ricandelphias to roll the fuck up in here and say redundant shit. Like, well, you didn't put money in it. Why are you complaining about In the Heights? Motherfucker, that's what the fuck I was just talking about. Did you come in late, or do you have a perpetual seat at the back of the fucking class? Did you roll in on the short bus? I was talking to my people, lighting the fire under their ass. We got way too much talent out here. Too much talent to be begging to be in other people's shit. That's what the fuck I was saying. And there are a lot of people, if you look on YouTube, there are a lot of people doing fire shit and they're black. And I love it, love it, love it, love it. LUV, capital exclamation mark, infinity. I love it. One is called Jay the Fade. That sister, not only is she lovely, she looks like she's gonna be the next Issa Rae. She looks like she's going to be the next Issa Rae because Issa Rae started on YouTube with a show called Awkward Black Girl. And it was innovative, it was funny, it was wholehearted, it was down to earth. And HBO saw that and they bought the rights off of her, I believe. And then they took everything that made it special out of it and then put it on HBO. And now it's called Insecure. And now it's being canceled because it ain't shit. But initially, but at the very least, she became a star off of it. But initially, it started off YouTube as a show called Awkward Black Girl. Okay, when it went on HBO, they sucked the life out of it. Everything that made it special and cool and cute and funny, they removed all of that. I don't know why production companies tend to do that, but that's the price you pay when you sell your shit. When you sell your shit to other people and you sell the rights to do whatever the fuck they want to your shit, you have no control anymore and you can't complain. So Issa Rae can't complain about what HBO Max has done to her shit. At the very least, though, I respect that she used it to catapult herself to stardom. She's a big star now, and I love, love, love the fact that she's up there. Congrats to you, sister. Big up to you. Shout out to Issa Rae. Shout out to Issa Rae. Okay? Now, again, I'm talking to my people. And if we get anyone in here, any of the slow taps of any gender, any of them who say that because I'm Haitian, I'm not black, get them the fuck out of here. You know the routine. I will never get tired of this routine. Okay? Get them out of here. Give them this on the way out. And you choose whether it's the door or window, and you also choose whether that window or door is open or shut. Preferably, I would prefer if that window is shut. And the momentum of you catapulting them the fuck up out of there is what opens the window.
Yeah.
Fuck up out of here. All right? Now I'm going to address my people again. I'm not addressing these guys. I'm not addressing any Rican Delphias. I'm not addressing any Paula Fundiendo Neuronas or whatever the hell, the channel's name is. I'm not addressing anything like that. What I'm addressing right now, who I'm addressing are my people. Okay? Whether you're Haitian, Jamaican, whether you're from Louisiana, Florida, whether you're from the Bahamas or, Trinidad and Tobago, whether you're from Nigeria, Ghana, Gabon, you're my people. You're my people. Whether you're from the Americas or Southeast Asia, I've seen plenty of those brothers and sisters, and they look like me. They look like some family members that I know of. And I'm speaking to you as well. Okay? I'm speaking to my melanated people, my melanated nation. Here are the reasons why. When you come to this channel, at the very least, don't worry about it. I broke into that car already. There was nothing in there to be found. I stole everything that's meant to be stolen out of it. That's just for show outside. Now, one of the reasons why I don't cover too many Haitian things on my channel, if you spend any amount of time on this channel, you will find out that I'm Haitian. Okay? I'm Haitian. And then when you have these agent provocateurs, one agent provocateur came in here, and the thing is, at the time, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I thought he was playing some sort of fourth dimensional chess with the people who are obvious and avowed racists. Obvious, avowed racists. I thought he was playing fourth dimensional chess with them when he told them, hey, the Dominican Republic should take over Haiti. That's the only way to save the whole island. They should take over Haiti. Now, at the time, I'm like, all right, let me see what angle he's playing at. Let me see the angle. I fucks with it. No, that was no angle. That was no angle. This guy is anti-black. Now, the thing is, I won't mention his name. He knows who he is. He espoused a lot of slick anti-blackness many times. And he came on the channel one time and was like, why don't you do stuff about Haiti? Now, the thing is, he knows he was sent by the people who are part of his club that he's trying to be in. Now, I don't know if he knew that I know. For appearance's sake, though, when he brought that in here, and I regret at the time I had open streams, okay, open platform streams. Right now, it's closed panels only. Notice I'm not dropping any fucking panel links on here. It's closed panels only. Until we know who the fuck we're dealing with, it's closed panels only. Since he was already on there and I hadn't instituted the closed panels regulation, I had to play along with it. Yeah, let's do stuff about Haiti. And I did a couple of things about Haiti because while looking up the things that I usually look at, because make no mistake about it, I watch Abner Gelin. It's a news guy who does news, Haiti news, all the time. And I have all the links to these different Haitian channels. The only thing is, those people are doing that work. They're not doing my work. I'm dealing in pop culture. So you guys want me to go over there, and mind you, most of those people, they're living abroad. So you want me to uproot my life and go there and then be a drop in the bucket of people covering that news. The best thing to do, because right now, one of the reasons why my family and myself, a little bit about me is that my life is a hodgepodge of class struggle. Okay. I came from moderate privilege. Okay. Moderate privilege. We had a maid at the house. We're dark skinned. It was not about skin color. We had we had maids back in Haiti. We had maids, and we had kind of like a hallway boy, right? So it's a guy who was, he was kind of like in his 30s, but he was really skinny and really, really young looking, and he enjoyed other people saying, "Hey, that young man over there." Actually, he was in his 40s or something like that, 40s or even near 50s. But he had a really, really young face and body. He kept in shape, so he liked when we call him, "Hey, what up, young boy." And so we call him kind of like the hallway boy or whatever. But he basically kept a lookout on the house if there was gardening, and he was kind of like and he was a Swiss Army knife. He was a Swiss Army knife. Now, this guy, he was a former gangster, so he knew how to fight. He knew he was about that life. And he was former military, so he knew how to handle weapons, right? And he's a gardener. So he was Batman and Alfred in one. So he's our butler and kind of like the hallway boy. We paid him more than we paid the maids. And he would handle everything. If there's a break-in in the house, he'd handle that. If there's overgrowth in the gardens, he'd handle that. Okay, if there's dirt in the courtyard, he'd handle that. He was an all-purpose guy. And we had those sorts of servants. Okay, that's where I come from. One of our maids happened to look like her right here on the screen. Anyhow, okay, so when I came here, the curve was readjusted. Okay, when you come to the United States, it throws off the curve. If you were an engineer back in India, you mop floors in Florida. You understand? Those of you who don't have the immigration experience, that's what happens. That's what happens. So when we left, we gave the servants their stipends, not the stipends, but like their packages to go and seek work elsewhere, and you give them their money, to survive on until they find other work. And then you spend all your money and all your resources to come to the United States. Okay. When you get here, now you're starting at the bottom. Now I spoke with Rad in reference to his experience being a Dominican and Ecuadorian, everything else that he is, right? Everything in reference to who he is and what his experience has been in reference to or in contrast to African Americans. And it kind of aligned with mine, where when we came here, there were things available to my mom and my dad that were not available to African Americans, even though we're the same color, same features, right? West African to Central African and East African features. We had all those different things going for ourselves. The only thing is we spoke French and Creole. Suddenly, we were the exotic ones. Hey, don't be like those black ones over there in the projects. Well, excuse me, sir, but I actually live in the projects. We moved there. Oh, you need to get up. You need to get up out of there immediately. Why do we need to get up out of there immediately? So even this employer, has acknowledged what kind of a trap, an economic trap, the projects are. They pay you to stay poor. They pay you to stay poor. So, anyhow, I digressed a lot, but let me get to the point here. When we got here, one of the prevalent sentiments about looking back, is it Lot's wife? When God said, "Don't look back," while Sodom and Gomorrah are being, destroyed, basically performing a nuclear strike on Sodom and Gomorrah. That's the sentiment that we have. Don't look back. Don't look back at Haiti. Don't look back. Now, the reason why that sentiment was prevalent is because the country is so destabilized by foreign powers and so infested, root, stem, and seed with corruption that there's nothing you can do to help unless you go there personally. And when you go there, you get kidnapped and killed. Even after they get the ransom, they find your body somewhere. After they collect the ransom, they find you in pieces anyway. So these agent provocateurs, both the guy who said, "Well, you should do more stuff about Haiti," and and then this one here who came in basically wagging her finger in black people's faces. "You should not be looking to be in other people." But yeah, I fucking told them that already. That's the platform you came in on. Me telling them this. The only thing is, I'm saying out of love, and I'm saying it to motivate them. And I'm saying, how can I be down? Can you help me with my projects? Do you have a project? Do you have a project that I can help you with, fellow black man, black woman, gay, straight, whatever? I'm saying that. And that's what the critique is accompanied by. You came in, and your critique, Paula, was accompanied by a tisk 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 and a finger wagging in their face. Just like the video you made of, "Is Danny Lee a colorist for uploading Yellowbone, light-skinned women, or are you just insecure?" Just like that straw man fucking argument. Okay? That's what you came in here to do, to disrupt. Speaking of the Danny Lay thing, what we have to understand is that there are dynamics in this country right now that immigrants like myself, and I don't know if Rad was born here or if he's an immigrant himself, or Denise I here was born in Puerto Rico, and in that case, she's both an immigrant and she's native because America is linked with Puerto Rico. Okay, but when you're an immigrant, there are a lot of things you won't understand about this country and how it runs, and what the African Americans' plight is, what their place is on the totem pole. And yes, there's a totem pole. Did you think India was the only place with a caste system? Maybe, maybe you're drinking the hyper conservative Kool-Aid. Because I, being a conservative myself, even me, I tend to look over at the conservatives. I'm like, huh? A lot of times conservatives are like, "Well, black people, what they need to do is lift themselves up by their bootstrap. There's no such thing there's no such thing as an oppressive system and racism." And the only thing I could do is turn, even though I'm in their camp, I can't help but turn around and be like,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
okay, so you're coming into that immigrant, you're coming into that situation and circumstance. That's what you're coming into, where conservatives keep wagging their fingers in black people's face. Why can't you get your act together? Why can't you pull yourself up by your bootstrap? Why can't you get things going? Why can't you ever build anything? Okay? With all their bootlicks, all their bootlicks, both brown and black, especially black bootlicks, who basically have told you, black people never built anything, they ain't shit, they ain't worth nothing. Hey, look at this guy.
You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. But let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing.
So you have conservatives and their bootlicks, like the guy you just heard, on one side, right? And then when the African American turns around and says, hey, you know what? Maybe the liberals are my friend as well. The liberals turn around and they go, well, you don't have to strive to be anyone. You don't have to. We know you come from slavery. You've never been anywhere and you've never done anything. Poor African American. Aww. Poor African American. We know you'll never be anything except what we allow you to be, African American. We have a nice place for you. Right here in this barn. Okay? Now, again, you have to know your place. Know your place. You can never talk back to us now. So the African American is stuck in between these two places. And all throughout this, they're dealing with systematic oppression when seeking jobs. They're dealing with black women in particular, but black people in general, being under-medicated because supposedly black people, look this up, there's a myth that black people suffer less physical pain than other people. That's why a lot of black women are under prescribed when it comes to medication. Oh, she's black, she's a black woman, she can take it. That's a real thing. Third, they're getting gunned down in the streets. Not to say that white people aren't getting gunned down in the street. Policing in America is out of control. But it does not alter the fact, right, that black people are being gunned down by police, by a lot of white supremacist infiltration of police, not regular police. If it weren't for a lot of the rhetoric, I would be back the blue. I'd be a back the blue type dude. But there's too much out here for me to start being a back the blue type dude. They need to take care of their problem first. Their problem of the infiltration of guys wearing Rhodesian flags or Confederate t-shirts under their shirts while they're shooting down black men. They have to take care of that problem first. The reason why you didn't hear about, let's say, that guy, I forgot what his name was, who shot down Samuel DeBose, who had a Confederate t-shirt under his shirt, you know why you didn't hear about that? Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. It was a loophole. They couldn't bring that up during the trial, so the jury never heard it. The jury never heard that the white guy was a ghost skin who shot Samuel DeBose. So African Americans have to deal with that nonsense. That's what they have to deal with. And so when they have to deal with that sort of thing, we as immigrants, we come in here not completely appreciating the dynamic that's occurring. And then we lumber around with our clumsy clogs on, clink, 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 duh, right? Not knowing about the virtual minefield. It's a weird minefield too. It's a minefield where we as immigrants step on the mine and an African American blows up. We're fine. That's a weird landmine. Because the Jean family from the Botham Jean case, where Botham Jean was in his house. Now this guy, side note, usually when a black person gets gunned down, something like a Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, etc., when they get gunned down, The media starts scrubbing through their social media feeds to find photos of them with guns. Now, the thing is, if they found white people with guns out, they're practicing their First Amendments. If it's a black guy with guns out, he's a thug, he's a gangster. Thug life. They couldn't do that with with Botham Jean. They couldn't do that with him. With Botham Jean, he was academically inclined, very, very smart brother. He was very moral. Actually, he was the moral pillar of his community. People came to him for advice as young as he was, something like 25. People came to him, older people even, came to him for advice. He was a pastor, either a pastor or pastor in training, one of those things. But he was actually operating under the auspices of the church. He was an acting pastor. There are videos floating around online where you can see him preaching and helping sing and all these different things. He was a gifted athlete. It's part of the reason why when that devil woman broke into his home, he was watching football games. He had a big bowl of ice cream and he was watching a football game. When that occurred, when that devil came in and pretended it was her apartment and then gunned him down, he was eating ice cream. He was eating ice cream. And so it set a precedent. Hey, now we ghost skins, and I call her ghost skin for a very particular reason. Amber Geiger, this devil woman, Amber Geiger. You should have seen. Now, the thing is, the judge tried to not admit the cell phone logs, but she was forced to. Someone twisted her arm like, yo, you can't do this. You gotta show the cell phone logs. What was her conversations like with other people? We sitting here buying this devil's tears while she's sitting on the bench. What about her phone logs? Where she was talking hella shit about black police officers and making fun of Dr. Martin Luther King's death at the Dr. Martin Luther King parade of some sort. She was making fun of his death and bragging that her dog is racist, and so is she. I guess both bitches are racist. That stuff was in the cell phone logs. So when I say she's a ghost skin is a white supremacist who's not particularly announcing that they're white supremacists, and they go undercover in places like the FBI, CIA, police, sheriff's department, all these different things. I'm not calling her a ghost skin just to be mean. That's what she is. So when this ghost skin said, hey, I can actually come into a black man's home, let alone catching him in the street. You know, that's a done deal. I can already catch him in the street and gun him down. But I'm going to show you motherfuckers. I'm going to go in his house where he's sitting down eating ice cream. I will gun him down. Then my officers will come and trample over his body looking for evidence that they can use while it's being videotaped. When they showed that in court, the mom broke down. It destroyed her to watch Amber Geiger's fellow officers stepping over Botham Jean's body like it's a carpet. Looking for, is this weed here? No, that's not weed. We need to find something. It fucked her up watching that shit. And the judge looked over and said, I'm really sorry. Fuck, you're sorry. You went and you hugged Amber Geiger at the end of the case. So immigrants come into these sorts of dynamics. Whether they're from the Bahamas like the Jean family or from Haiti like my family, we come into these dynamics. And instead of striking a blow for justice, we go, hey, how can we get paid? Not realizing that when we set the precedent that this devil can come into someone's home, kill them, and only get something like 10 years. And then now with this COVID-19 thing, she might be serving 3. You allow that precedent to occur, then you get back the fuck up on an airplane with your money, and you go home to the Bahamas or Trinidad and Tobago, wherever the fuck you're from, and you leave African Americans to face the backlash of, oh shit, now we're not safe in our own home because someone wearing my uniform went and hugged his brother's killer on national television.
Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please? Yes.
That's what we're left with. That's what we're left with. That's what we're left with. We got to deal with that. And to be honest, me, someone who is, while being a proud American, I'm a black American by visual distinction. They can't tell the difference between me and a Haitian. We dress the same. We got the same skin color, got the same West African features. And my accent, even if they ask me, I'm like from Haiti, they'll be like, yeah, good story. Nice story, nigger. Get in the back of the fucking squad car. They can't tell if I'm Haitian or African American. I don't have the accent that much. The accent that I have, I've been told that it's almost Euro. Okay? That it's almost Euro, which I don't agree with. I think it's just proper English. It's just proper. It's simple, proper English. But I don't sound like a typical Haitian. I don't extend all my OUs. Get out of my house. If you want to distinguish, wait a minute. I don't know who the fuck is listening in here. When we have a private show, I'll get that game out. But for now, nah, I ain't giving that game out. So as Slow Taps can go ahead and come through here with more information and shit, or get more information. Now, believe it or not, it's time for the main topic. The main topic won't take a lot of time because it's pretty simple. It's shit I told you before. It's shit I told you before. And no, Blood Moon, I rarely know who's here when I'm preaching, if that's what you want to call it, sure. I never know who's here while I'm preaching. And I guess, you know what? Let's go ahead and call it preaching, because that's really what it is. I preach black empowerment and the takedown of white supremacy. If you're pro white supremacy, then, you know, that is what it is. But I'm not talking to you, Blood Moon. I'm saying that in general to whoever's listening. Okay? We had a black group. Here's, you know what? I'll save that for the mixed for the mixed video. I'm about to do a video on, you know, no such thing as being mixed. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. But right now, let's talk about the Anne Boleyn thing. Okay? Anne Boleyn was, and for me, it's a pretty boring fucking story. Like, I can't even sit through the shit. Well, all the times that stuff's come on TV, there've been articles written about her and all these sorts of things. For me, it was like, scene number two. Number two, this is what I was saying. Why are African Americans and black people in general, why are y'all flocking to these people's stories? Not these people as in white people, I mean white supremacists. Why are you flocking to white supremacist camp and looking to be in their shit? That shit is boring, man. I do want to say one thing that might really irritate, really enrage white supremacists. Hey, white supremacists, you know all the symbols you guys use? You realize they're not yours, right? You do realize the Vikings. It looks like you guys look up to the Vikings and berserkers and all these different groups. You realize they were racist. They found African coins and Moorish artifacts up in Norway. Now, I'm not going into Hotep territory here by implying that there were black Vikings. God forbid, I wouldn't want anyone to come in through here and start typing "we were Kangs, we was Kangs" like it's 2011. But the proof is in the pudding. There are artifacts back and forth between the Viking countries, whether that's Sweden, Norway, etc., and other nations. So that seafaring people, those raiders, were not really racist. They interbred and intermingled with everyone. Okay? So when you're using all their iconography, like the Odal runes, the black sun, and all these different things, you realize that technically you're culturally appropriating, right? White supremacists, they're not yours. They're not yours. I would venture that if David Duke stood in front of, like if we had a time machine and David Duke stood in front of Leif Erikson, you know, the guy who discovered America way before Columbus, this guy from, I don't know, Norway, this Viking guy, Leif Erikson would raise his mighty axe and cleave David Duke in half. Okay? Somebody like Michael J. White, Leif Erikson would give him like a brother's handshake. You know what I mean? They were a warrior culture. They respected honor, right? They respected skill. They brought back slaves, you know, when that wasn't bogged down with racial connotations, right? They brought down captives, right? Slaves who had skills from many different things, because like, okay, hey, we can't build this sort of housing at home. We see that you guys in this particular country build houses a particular way. Why don't you come back here? Well, we don't want to give you anything. Well, get on the motherfucking ship. You're a slave now, right? Right or wrong, they did that shit. Okay, so they respected skill, they respected strength, they respected all these things. They did not give a flying fuck about skin color. So, slight digression, you white supremacists have nothing original. Hey, do you white supremacists know that Germany did not really, agree with the Nazis? Did you know that? Did you know that when you're saying, oh, Nazi scientists, the reason why we have so-called Nazi scientists is because a lot of these German scientists and innovators were already performing their sciences, practicing their craft, and doing their innovations before the Nazi party. So you're shit out of luck on that end as well. Okay? That's pretty fucking funny. You racists have nowhere else to go. You've made nothing. You've invented, oh, well, you know what? I will say that Johann Blumenbach, that Blumenbachian area where you guys ran around measuring skulls, as if that means something, as if you can't find people in Africa with high cheekbones and thin noses, right? Saying, well, high cheekbones and the protruding forehead and a thin nose bridge, that's indicative of Caucasians, the most beautiful of men. Well, here's the thing. You can find that in India, China, Africa, right? You guys were fuckheads. You're fucktards. You're idiots. You're morons. And you've managed to genetically pass down that fucktardedry down to your inheritors who marched at Charlottesville. Yay! Let's go away from that digression and go to Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn was a white woman, a whole white woman. You African Americans and black people in general, what the fuck is your problem? You don't have enough black queens, really? that you need to go adopt this woman who stole the king away from her wife and then got executed later on in the story. That's what you want. That's is this your queen? Is this your queen? That's who you want to be. I mean, I would think, I could swear that you probably would want better for yourself and for your representation. Okay, and nothing wrong and nothing towards that sister who got the role. No disrespect to her. I'm glad she got the role and she got to advance her career. I mean, I don't know how far her career is going to advance with a flop of a movie like this, but if it did advance, more power to her. More power to her. I applaud her gangster. She made her money. Gave from what I've heard, I haven't seen the thing, nor do I plan on seeing it. She gave a mediocre performance in a mediocre movie that kept mediocre ratings in a 3-part mediocre story arc that ended lower than mediocrity would ever lend itself to. And that will be the story of the Black Anne Boleyn. That will be the story of you. Hopefully you got caked out, sister. Hopefully you got paid. Hopefully you got paid. Because the thing is, you're not even doing this about an ancient person. It's not like you're doing this about Nefertiti, Cleopatra, or someone else that we don't have proper visual documentation for. You did this about a whole person who, like, right before. This is not too far away from when we had photography, like early photography. Okay, so they were still painting, but they were using painters the way we use photographers today. So there's tons of visual representation of what this woman looked like. What business did you have trying to be? And I'm not talking to Black people in general now anymore. I'm talking to this actress, because I'm not even talking to the director or producer, because they are users, they're exploiters. This Black actress, I forgot what her name was. I forgot your name, sister. More power to you, though. That you pulled off this whole con. More power to you. But you should have said no to the role. You should have said no. You should have maybe asked. Maybe you should have auditioned for Nubia. Nubia is the Black Wonder Woman, and she's as powerful, or probably even more powerful than Wonder Woman. She's stronger, faster, and she probably has like more regenerative powers. Like you cut her and her skin heals right on point and stuff like that. Okay, why couldn't you have been Nubia? Why did you have to go with somebody who looks nothing like you? Looks nothing like you. Okay, you should have said no to that role. And again, the news that I've been hearing, it should not be the news that I heard. You know what news I should have heard in reference to Anne Boleyn? It should have been like, wow, we wanted a Black woman to portray the role, but we couldn't find one Black actress to say yes. That should have been the news. But that wasn't the news, though. That wasn't what I read or heard. What I'm reading and hearing is that these liberals, these white, secretly racist liberals who don't believe that Black people can do anything for themselves, these Black liberals said, hey, you know what? Representation is a really big deal nowadays. So, what would be kind of great if we could get Anne Boleyn, that story of the British Queen who got executed by King Henry VIII. Yes, pray tell. Well, I think maybe since representation is big, maybe we should have that Black girl from Queen and Slim, and from that movie with Michael B. Jordan. Maybe we could have her. You mean as the servant? No, as Anne Boleyn. Yes, Queen! Oh my God! Yes, Queen Slay. You have these ideas back to back. Oh my God! First, you had the idea so that we could have what's that shit that they have? So that we could have a Black Peter Pan and a Black Alice in Wonderland, and then now you come with this. Oh my God! This is a doozy. You go. Oh my God! That's what the white liberals did. And then you fell for that fucking trick bag. It's a trick bag. Because here's the thing. When you do this, every time you do this, every single time you fall for this bullshit, what happens is the energy that you have routed towards a misrepresentation of a white character is missing from the proper representation of the black figures historically that you have. There were tons of black people in England. Why couldn't you have played one of them? No. You wanted to play into the liberal ideal of 50-50 representation or equal representation across the board, which is a fallacy. It's stupid. It's a nonsensical idea. It's horrible. And once you black folk, especially black actors, once you go in and you accept these roles, you can't tell me shit. That's the trick bag. You can't tell Zoe Saldana a goddamn thing when she does this to you. You can't tell her a goddamn thing. This is a woman who has routinely denied her blackness. And when you twist her arm, she's like, yes, I am a black woman. You let the arm go, but I'm actually ethnically, I'm Dominican, I'm part Irish. And about that, you twist the arm again, but I'm also a black woman. Let it go. Let my arm go. That's the person you had representing Nina Simone. But you can't complain because you let this shit go down. So then there's no problem with this. You get it? That's the trick bag. There's no free lunch. If someone shows up at your door with a bag, right? You know you ain't never ordered nothing, and it's a free fucking bag at the door. You really gonna take it? Are you really that stupid?
Right, my fault. Right, I ain't worried about a nigga. I ain't worried about a nigga. Here's your burrito. I ain't ordered no. I ain't ordered no. Judging by your coat, judging by your good shit. Smoking that good shit. You probably forgot you ordered Postmates. You ordered Postmates. Go ahead, man. Open the bag. Go ahead, man. Jog your memory. Man, jog your memory. Dang.
It's a trick bag, and y'all fell for it. Y'all fall for it every single time. Why? I don't understand it. You guys know there were literally black knights up in Europe, and black maidens, and black priestesses, and all these different things. You couldn't have made a story about that, and you couldn't have held out. Look, if I were you, sister, what I would have done, and I know the thing is, Hollywood's a big bureaucracy, okay? And you got to maneuver your way politically through it. I get it. But the thing is, you have a particular amount of pull. You weren't Queen and Slim. That did okay, right? And you're in that new, what's that guy, Michael B. Jordan movie, Without Mercy or something like that, Without Remorse. So basically, you can throw your weight around now. You can throw your weight around. Why not? If they approach you with an Anne Boleyn script, you go, you know what? As much as I love the script, you got to talk their language, and you got to end all your sentences with a fucking question mark. Well, I love your script, and I love the story. Like, can we just stop doing that? Making white characters black? I know it was like a trend around 2016 through 2018, you know? But if we can move on, that would be fantastic. That's what you should have said, sister. You shouldn't have fell for the trick bag. Now, I think that the reason why this flopped is not only due to that, but due to the fact that people are tired of these historical stories anyhow. However, these other entities, like these websites, they have their own idea as to why this movie flopped, this 3-part movie or miniseries, whatever the hell it was. Okay? So in order to get into that, it's reading time. Reading with your Negro Tep. So let's go ahead. Let's see what we can get here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Although it's taking its sweet time to load. Oh my God. This internet today. Maybe I won't read this today. Maybe I'll just leave this shit alone. Let me see if I can reboot this or something. Or what you call it, refresh this page. Yeah, you know what? I'm a charge that shit to the game. You guys got the point. You guys got the point. Black people, enough. Stop looking for free shit. You want proper representation, do it yourself. All right? Now, the people who I referenced in the beginning of the video, do not contact them, don't bother them, don't harass them. No, it's not trick language. I really mean it. Don't go to their page. Don't give them any clicks and extra fucking subs. Anyway, don't go to their pages. Don't accost them if you see them in the comment section and we haven't booted them the fuck up out of here yet. Don't harass them. Don't call them names or anything like that. Leave them the fuck alone. Let them do what they do. We'll do what we do. If you're interested in backing a black project, I have a comic book that I'm working on. Okay? And anytime you give to the Cash App, that goes towards making the comic book. Now, there are other projects, especially if you're involved with a project, you should let me know. And if I see that it's something that's going somewhere, I will actually contribute to it. So that's what I'm talking about. We should start doing our projects. And also, I think about in a week or 2 weeks, Latin Splaining with Denise Gonzalez. She's putting something together that's amazing. You ain't ready. You just ain't ready for. I'll just tell you right now, you ain't ready for what she's putting together. All right. But rest assured that me and Rad were involved. We putting something together. You're gonna love it, and I will see you in a few minutes, most likely, for the next stream. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications if you're on any social media platform. Go ahead and share a link to this video, a link to this channel. We are currently at 130, 140 subs. We need to get to 200. Can you let us? Can you allow us? Can you help us? Can you aid us? Can you support us on our way to 200? Get us to 200 subs. Grow this platform. Grow this platform. It's your platform and it's my platform. Let's do it. Bro, tap out.